Misogyny in South Korea has garnered increasing attention not just within the country but also on a global scale due to its pervasive impact on various aspects of society, including the financial sector. South Korea, one of Asia's leading economies, has been grappling with deeply entrenched gender inequalities that have far-reaching consequences.
Firstly, thank you for watching and don't forget to smash that like, subscribe, and notification bell for more global finance uncovered, as we continue to work hard and around the clock to always deliver and improve on our content for you. We would greatly appreciate your additional support by you clicking the like button, notification bell, and subscribe button and joining our channel's growth.
The country's finance industry is not immune to these issues, as gender biases and discriminatory practices have led to significant underrepresentation of women in key financial roles. This underutilization of female talent in South Korea has raised concerns among global investors and financial institutions who recognize the potential negative impact on the country's economic growth and stability. The gender gap in South Korea's finance sector is alarming. Despite being highly educated and capable, women are often excluded from leadership positions in financial firms, including banks, investment companies, and regulatory bodies. This exclusion not only stifles diversity but also limits the potential for innovative thinking and decision-making within these organizations. The lack of female representation at the top levels of financial institutions has been linked to poorer financial performance, as diverse teams are generally more effective in managing risks and driving growth. As a result, global investors are becoming increasingly wary of the long-term sustainability of South Korean financial institutions. Moreover, the pervasive culture of misogyny in South Korea extends beyond the workplace and affects broader societal attitudes towards women. This has led to a hostile environment for female entrepreneurs and business leaders, further diminishing their participation in the economy. When women are systematically excluded or discouraged from participating fully in the economy, the country's overall productivity suffers. This, in turn, has implications for global finance, as South Korea is a major player in the global market. Investors are beginning to see the negative impact of gender inequality on the country's economic performance and are re-evaluating their investments accordingly. International organizations and financial watchdogs have also taken notice of the situation in South Korea. Institutions like the International Monetary Fund (IMF) and the World Bank have emphasized the importance of gender equality for economic development. These organizations argue that countries with significant gender disparities, like South Korea, are at risk of slower economic growth and increased financial instability. This is because a lack of gender diversity can lead to a narrower perspective in decision-making processes, ultimately affecting the financial sector's ability to respond to global challenges effectively. The situation in South Korea also highlights the broader issue of gender inequality in the global financial system. Misogyny and gender bias are not unique to South Korea, but the country's case is particularly concerning given its advanced economy and significant role in international markets. The global financial community is increasingly recognizing that gender inequality is not just a social issue but also a critical economic one. This awareness is leading to more pressure on South Korea to address these issues, both from within and from international stakeholders who see the potential risks to their investments. In response to growing international pressure, some South Korean companies have begun to implement measures aimed at reducing gender disparities in the workplace. These measures include diversity training, mentorship programs for women, and initiatives to promote work-life balance. However, these efforts have been met with mixed results, as deep-seated cultural attitudes towards gender roles continue to pose significant barriers. The effectiveness of these initiatives will be crucial in determining whether South Korea can improve its standing in the global financial community and maintain its economic growth. The negative impact of misogyny on South Korea's economy also has broader implications for its geopolitical standing. As one of the world's leading exporters and a key player in global trade, South Korea's economic health is closely tied to its international relationships. Gender inequality and the resulting economic inefficiencies could weaken the country's position in global trade negotiations and reduce its influence in international forums. This could lead to a vicious cycle where economic stagnation further entrenches gender biases, making it even harder to address these issues in the future. Furthermore, South Korea's struggle with misogyny could undermine its reputation as a modern, developed nation. Countries that fail to address gender inequality are often seen as less progressive and less attractive to foreign investors. This could lead to a decline in foreign direct investment (FDI), as companies may choose to invest in countries with more inclusive and equitable work environments. For a country like South Korea, which relies heavily on exports and international partnerships, a decline in FDI could have serious consequences for its economy. The global financial community's focus on environmental, social, and governance ESG criteria is also putting additional pressure on South Korea to address its gender inequality issues. ESG factors are becoming increasingly important in investment decisions, with investors looking for companies and countries that demonstrate a commitment to social responsibility. South Korea's poor track record on gender equality could result in lower ESG scores, making it less attractive to socially conscious investors. This could further exacerbate the economic challenges facing the country. The impact of misogyny in South Korea extends far beyond the country's borders, affecting global finance and the international community's perception of South Korea as an economic partner. The exclusion of women from the financial sector and broader economic activities not only undermines the country's potential for growth but also poses risks to global investors and financial institutions. Addressing these issues will require a concerted effort from both the South Korean government and the private sector, as well as ongoing pressure from the international community to promote gender equality and ensure sustainable economic development. The consequences of South Korea's misogyny on global finance are not limited to the immediate effects on the country's economy. They also pose long-term risks for the financial markets, particularly as South Korea continues to be an integral part of the global supply chain. Gender inequality within the country's workforce, particularly in financial roles, means that South Korea is not fully leveraging its human capital. This inefficiency can have ripple effects, slowing down productivity and innovation, which are critical for maintaining competitiveness in an increasingly interconnected global economy. Investors and multinational corporations who rely on South Korea for both consumer markets and as a key manufacturing hub may start to reassess their reliance on a country where gender biases hinder economic potential. Moreover, South Korea's finance sector, by not addressing its gender disparity, is also at risk of missing out on the benefits that come with diversity. Studies consistently show that companies with greater gender diversity, especially in leadership roles, tend to outperform those that are less diverse. This is because diverse teams are better equipped to understand and respond to the needs of a broader customer base, which is crucial in today's globalized markets. The lack of female participation in South Korea's finance sector could therefore lead to suboptimal financial products and services, reducing the country's competitiveness in international markets and potentially leading to a decline in its financial exports. The underrepresentation of women in South Korea's financial industry also has implications for global financial stability. As one of the world's largest economies, South Korea plays a significant role in the stability of the global financial system. Gender inequality in such a crucial sector could contribute to less resilient financial institutions, which are more vulnerable to crises. A lack of diverse perspectives in risk assessment and decision-making processes can lead to blind spots that might not be adequately addressed, increasing the likelihood of financial mishaps that could have international repercussions. The issue of gender inequality in South Korea also highlights a broader challenge within the global financial community: the need to address systemic biases that hinder economic progress. While South Korea's case is particularly acute, it serves as a reminder that many countries still struggle with similar issues. The global financial community, including institutions like the IMF and the World Bank, must continue to emphasize the importance of gender equality as a critical component of economic policy. By doing so, they can help ensure that countries like South Korea are encouraged to make the necessary reforms to create a more inclusive and productive economy. The role of international investors in pushing for change in South Korea cannot be understated. Investors wield significant influence over the companies and economies in which they invest, and by prioritizing gender equality as part of their investment criteria, they can help drive change in South Korea. For instance, investors might demand greater transparency regarding gender diversity within companies or require that certain benchmarks be met before committing capital. This kind of pressure could force South Korean firms, including those in the financial sector, to take more proactive steps to address gender inequality, thereby improving their appeal to global investors. Furthermore, the focus on gender equality is increasingly becoming a central theme in the broader discussion of sustainable finance. As investors and companies alike place more emphasis on environmental, social, and governance ESG factors, gender equality is becoming a critical component of social responsibility. South Korea's financial sector, if it continues to lag in this area, risks being sidelined by global financial institutions that prioritize ESG in their decision-making processes. This could lead to a reduction in investment and capital flows into the country, further exacerbating economic challenges. The cultural dimension of misogyny in South Korea also plays a significant role in shaping the country's financial landscape. Deeply rooted gender biases are not easily dismantled, and they influence not just hiring practices but also the everyday interactions within financial institutions. This can create a work environment that is less conducive to the success of female employees, thereby perpetuating the cycle of gender inequality. Addressing these cultural issues is essential not just for improving gender equality, but also for enhancing the overall effectiveness and morale within the financial sector, which ultimately impacts global finance. Moreover, the global perception of South Korea's commitment to gender equality could influence its relationships with other countries. In an era where social issues are increasingly influencing diplomatic and trade relations, South Korea's gender inequality could become a point of contention in its international dealings. Countries that prioritize gender equality may be less willing to engage in economic partnerships with South Korea, particularly if they view the country's misogyny as a liability. This could lead to reduced economic opportunities and a potential decline in South Korea's influence on the global stage. Finally, the economic impact of South Korea's gender inequality is likely to be felt most acutely by the next generation. As the country continues to grapple with low birth rates and an aging population, the need to fully utilize all available talent becomes even more pressing. However, if gender biases continue to limit opportunities for women in the financial sector and beyond, South Korea may struggle to maintain its economic vitality in the long term. This not only poses a risk to the country's future prosperity but also to global finance, as South Korea's economic health is closely intertwined with that of the global economy. Addressing misogyny and promoting gender equality, therefore, is not just a moral imperative but an economic one that has significant implications for global financial stability.
Thank you for watching, and don't forget to smash that subscribe, like, and notification bell for more global finance uncovered.